That's right. It's me, it's Uncle Jay. I gotta get my 3 hours of exercise in every day. Anyway, I want to thank all the sociopaths in France for acting like the animals that you are, because it gives everybody an opportunity to have an actual conversation like men. One, they should be thankful I'm not the president of France, because I would have already unleashed the military on them. Imagine we watched this pussy Macron at a concert. You know your country is under assault by pieces of garbage that you've allowed into your country that have no right to be there. Legally or illegally, whatever. These people have forced down the throats of society in Europe. They have forced down their throats a change of their culture, their history, their lives as they've known it to be. They've inflicted their will on you in a way that should really scare the shit out of everybody around the world, particularly those of us that live in a somewhat more modern version of society that these people want to destroy as quickly as they can, so we could all be as terrorized as the poor French citizens are. You would see the military being parachuted into certain cities if I had to get them there quicker. I would have unleashed the army on these motherfuckers in the way that they can't even imagine. They would have been authorized to beat them to death, to do whatever is necessary to restore order. These psychopaths, and I'm not really sure when I use the word psychopath when I call out the leaders around the world, or the psychopaths in the streets running rampant like the animals that they are. They're all psychopaths. The French government, they've mocked everybody. It's interesting, everybody should take note. There's so many things that are taking place here, including the fact that they show you that Trump is right about everything across the board. And all of you nimrods who are anti-Trump for whatever reason, even your heads need to be coming out of your ass a little bit slowly as you see what takes place around the globe. During COVID, they created a disease. They made it 10,000 times worse than what it was. Any human being that was of normal persuasion, a normal person that wanted to exercise their freedom of speech, in any way, shape, or form, you were beaten into submission. We watched the French police beat the shit out of people. The scumbags in Australia do the same thing, and that psychopath over in New Zealand. God, oh my God, talk about toxic masculinity. So these people taught you that we will terrorize the average citizen. You have no power. We'll beat you down as fucking much as we can, and we will terrorize you, bankrupt you, put you in prison for laws that we'll just create on the spot. And what they're showing you now is that you could be a psychopath from a third world shithole. We'll allow you in, we'll let you rape our women. We'll do nothing about it. We'll make the men watch as they bang your women in the streets. And we'll let these animals back onto the street. Oh, you're a racist if you want to put them in jail. They're underprivileged. No, they're just garbage. They come from uncivilized parts of the world, and too many of you out there have no fucking clue what it looks like around the rest of the globe. You really, you're not as smart as some of you people think you are. It is not our problem that they're savages. Our problem is that we're allowing savages into our country while ignoring the reality of it. And you try to create some righteous, dynamic verbiage around why you're doing it. The French government has failed, and it needs to be overthrown by righteous people. If we don't see the entire military out there stopping this, it's disgraceful. Since you're able to create laws on the spot like they did during COVID, here's a new law that they should implement in France today. If you came to this country in the last 10 years, legally or illegally, and you're involved in a riot, you get picked up off the street, they beat the shit out of you, they take you to the ocean, and they throw you in, and they give you a life preserver, and you can go find your way back to the shithole you came from. It should be that simple. In America, any Republican governor, anybody in power that's a Republican, or any Democrat that actually wants to grow some intellect and stop being the race-baiting, racist scumbags, anti-American pieces of shit that you are, you'll do the same that I suggest. You call up the National Guard and you go door to door and you purge every motherfucker that's in this country illegally today. You take them, you grab them by their throats, and you drag these motherfuckers to the ocean. You give them a little dinghy, and you point them in the direction of which they came. If the governments in the United States, if the governors don't do this, not one of you should ever run for office. And everybody running for office that's a Republican, you should sound exactly like me. That you will round up every illegal. You will toss them out of this country. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Every Republican governor, you need to call up the National Guard and you need to send them to the borders, into other states where they refuse to close it. And if you have to go to war with that state and the federal government, you should be doing so immediately. The way these psychopaths behave in France, it shows you that they are terrorist cells. They operate in exactly the same way a terrorist cell does. The phone rings, they call each other up, and they tell each other to go unleash hell on normal society. Why we don't see 50,000 Frenchmen with baseball bats beating these motherfuckers into the ground is shocking to me as well. Too much soy. Too many people wearing Lululemon pants. But what happened is the government taught you that we'll beat you into submission if you defy us. Well, in the United States, if you don't think that this can happen here, we saw what these assholes did to sway a presidential election. They allowed our cities to burn down. They told you it wasn't happening. You didn't want to believe your own eyes. They attacked our police stations. They used the miscreants of society that infest our country against the rest of people that want to live a normal civil life. And they beat everybody here into submission. I have news for everybody. They're giving us a great lesson. These animals, these savages, these racist pieces of shit that are burning down France. They're giving you a lesson that you need to rise up and never let it happen in your country. That the next time your politicians want to shut you down, the next time they want to force you into submission, our country should look like this, but for the right reason. Every normal person should rise up and destroy your government if they ever do what they did during COVID again. But the power structure that exists that did it needs to be destroyed, because they will do it again. The only thing they're doing every day is making Trump into a god. And rightfully so. In Egyptian times, they would create a golden throne with this man's face as if they would carry him around the entire country. We better start to learn to do the same fucking thing here, my friends.